So there's an app called Liven, and it talks about how when women with a wounded inner girl often chase what we call narcissists, what it really means is not because she wants pain, but because it felt like home. So she chose an abusive or neglectful love, mistaking trauma for love, chasing a narcissist. Unconditional love might feel unfamiliar, suspicious. Maturing is realizing that no contact is not avoidance. It's healing from anxious attachment. Overthinking every word, doubting their love, begging for reassurance, sacrificing your needs to keep them close is not healthy. Neither is panicking when they need space. This is not love. So I took this into myself, okay, so what's my goal? What would help me to feel not wounded? And what would make, so the goal is to feel not wounded. In other words, the goal is to heal. So the goal is to not be in an abusive, to not neglect myself, to not abuse myself. So I raised my standards. So I said, I eating properly with, food science to support it. So, 8 hours averaging sleep, daily Torah learning, which gets my head on straight and inspires me, and then raising my body fitness, which is with strength and flexibility, and then creativity like art, writing, etc., something like that. And as I've been doing that, I noticed that I'm going up, and I'm also coming out of denial. So I went to a codependency meeting, Codependents Anonymous. In the literature, it says the denial patterns. So codependents often label others with their negative traits. In recovery, I acknowledge that I may own the negative traits I often perceive in others. Codependents often mask pain in various ways, such as anger, humor, isolation. In recovery, I'm aware of my painful feelings and express them appropriately. Codependents often express negativity or aggression in indirect and passive ways, and in recovery, I'm able to express my feelings openly, directly, and calmly. And then there was the fast day, Shiva Asar B'Tammuz, in the summer, and so I did a meditation about mourning the life that 5785. Now we're in 5786 because it's a new year with Rosh Hashanah, and I was just mourning the life I never had that I had to give up. And in the University of Cambridge study, as per the Joseph Effect is an Instagram account. So it's like she versus he. She has this pain pattern. So it's basically intuition beats logic, like the feminine versus masculine. So pattern recognition. So feminine has the strength of intuition, which is a pattern recognition like on steroids. It reads, doesn't guess. It takes in micro expressions, social cues, and it connects feeling, tone, timing, energy, all of it in seconds. It's effective. It's AFF, effective empathy. In other words, noticing the pause, the blink, the energy shift, and there's gut feelings, and there's a second brain, the gut, right? You have the brain in your head, and there's a huge nervous system we learn by the digestion. So it's the gut feelings and what's hidden, and it's moving off of signals, making emotional decisions. There's validation and trusting of instincts, and very fast processing, and many steps ahead in terms of the wiring for perception. It's really a weapon, intuition. In other words, it's a protection. So, to go deeper in this, I was thinking about how, in terms of fluidity, when we think of the feminine, I was thinking of water. So, being washing the shame out of the desire and pleasure, and washing the duty out of being responsible, and washing the offensive out of people, including me, getting attached to a particular aspect of me, washing away the energy that makes loneliness and the yearning for meaning, connection, impersonal, and quenching the thirst of the drying, the foundational, exiled, deserted parts of myself, watering the deep and underground me, my earth, unclouding my eyes that I made blurry because I thought the ugly, unlovely world would last forever, and I didn't want to get disappointedly unprepared anymore. Healing my physical body and joints with unity, all the ruptures, all the blockages, clearing the projections and the mirrors in my relationships, and trusting the creative flow rather than rushing or looking, far ahead, too far ahead. Ever-changing, merging, yielding, forgiving, gentleness, purity, and letting blessings flow. Grace and increasing expanse, infinity, sharing, encompassing, encircling, company, friendship, holding space, womb, nurturing, stretching, woman, fertility, blooming, blossoming, growth, shooting, budding, springing, sprigging, pouring, porous, permeable. And I got that inspiration from joining a group called Dance Chapel on Water. And so I want to share about the inner masculine, that even as a woman, I have the animus. And I'm thinking now the man in not opposition, but in correspondence with me as a masculine would be Aaron, a man, and then I'm thinking of my father. So and then the man that I am inside as the inner masculine. the not getting enough care or listening, not feeling at home. Dirtiness felt normal. Clutter and mess felt safe. Neglected, like in terms of affection. Repressed guilt and shame and pride. The pure and impure and the clean and unclean were mixed. Fending off the harsh truth, almost like fighting for your life. Like... and aversion, rejection, unwanted, that in reality it would be that way. Little to no pleasure, so sense, addiction, compulsion, willing to be used for love, for the sake of unity and feeling good, for the sake of experiencing unity and feeling good, even only temporarily or with a price. Pushing away to get close, feeling inferior or inadequate, powerlessness, defenses, like critical, emotional coagulation, which I look at as the needing the other to feel the same emotion. This is like when someone might communicate discomfort through the language of making the other uncomfortable because they cannot admit that the discomfort, and then they enter denial, or in other words, denial sets in. Not conflict resolution skills or emotional de-escalation skills, and the volatility forbidden to be expressed, yet resulting in explosion and implosion, which requiring projecting and blaming to reconcile the distortions. Yet, men of the world, protected and saved me, love and cherish my beauty, respect my nurturous powers and impacts and effects, provide for and represent me and share their portion, energy, strength, resources, and space, and marked me to show I'm off limits to violate or exploit. And I think we'll stop there. Actually, one more thing. Let me see, maybe one or two. We'll do one more. So in Shmuel, book 2, chapter 16, verse 7, you man of blood. So this is Shimi ben Gera suspected David of guilt, King David, in the assassination of Avner ben Ner, which is from Shmuel 2, 3:27 to 32, and Ishboshet, which is Shmuel 2, 4, 5 to 12, and Radak, and Uriah Hachiti, the Hittite, which is from abarbanel. And he accused him of being an adulterer, a Moabite, and therefore unfit to rule, a murderer, oppressor, abomination to God. That's from Shabbat 105.8 and Midrash tehillim 3:3. And this is like the projections of the into the masculine. And we know that David was very humble, and Shimi ben Gera cursed him. So, and he called him man of blood. And I got this little list here from the Chayenu, the subscription, the magazine, the publication. It was for July 13 to 19, 2025, which the Hebrew year is 5785. I don't always like to give any credit to that source because they print every week the central lineage's rabbi, the male. His chapter of tehillim is corresponding to his year, the appropriate one. But then his wife, who he became rabbi through, because her father was the rabbi, and he married her, they don't write hers. And I've asked them multiple times, so, blasting them over here. Anyway, so yeah, that's all for today. All the best. Bye.